Hello everyone, welcome to Chapter 4, Lesson 7. Today we're going to be dividing fractions. So scan the lesson, list 2 related real-world scenarios in which you would divide fractions. So we're going to say landscaping, with parts of a ton of mulch. Next, we're going to say finding area of a section of land. Moving down to the real world link, this is 3 students are painting an art mural. The art mural is half painted. Use the picture at the bottom of the page, divide the painted area into 3 equal parts. Place an X over each part of the painted area, then represent the part of each student has painted. Then divide the unpainted area into the same number of parts. Okay, so this is kind of a lot of words and a little bit hard to follow. But the first thing it says was number 1 was divide the painted area. So the painted area into 3 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3. So the painted area is now divided into 3 equal parts. That's just the painted area. Place an X over each part of the painted area. So I'm going to put an X here. I'm going to put an X here. I'm going to put an X here. This represents the part each student has painted. Then divide the unpainted area into the same number of parts. So we need 3 more parts with the unpainted area right here. So we have 3 equal parts on the right side. What fraction of the whole mural has each student painted? So if 3 students are painting and we want to know how much each student has painted, each student has painted 1/6 of the mural. So I have 1/2 divided by 3 equals 1/6. Because 1/2 of the painted is, so 1/2 of the mural is painted, and then 3 people painted it. So we do 1/2 divided by 3 equals 1/6. So it is also true that 1/2 times 1/3 is 1/6. It says compare and contrast the division problem and the multiplication problem. So this is just explaining the difference between the 2 problems. So we divide 1/2 and 3 to get 1/6. We multiply 1/2 and 1/3. I'm going to put in parentheses, this is the reciprocal, to also get 1/6. Alright, so we're going to move on. This is divide by fraction. To divide by a fraction, multiply by its reciprocal. So we went over reciprocals in the last few lessons. So just remember, you take the second number here and you flip it. So instead of 2/3, now we have 3/2. And then we change our division sign to multiplication sign. If you want to do the algebraic way, A over B divided by C over D equals A over B times D over C, where B, C, and D do not equal 0. So example 1, find 1/2 divided by 1/3. So the first method is using the model. So model the dividend 1/2. So we have the whole model here, and we have 1/2 of it sectioned off. So we have the 1/2 here. Now it says divide the whole into thirds. So if I'm going to divide the whole into thirds, we have the whole entire thing is now in thirds. It says divide the whole into thirds means how many thirds are in 1/2. So count the number of third sections that are in 1/2. Well, I'll have 1/3 here, and I have a half of a third. So that means I have 1/3 there, and then I'll also have another half, so my final answer is going to be 1.5. Because I have a third here, one of my thirds is here, and then I have half a third right here to give me 1.5. The other method is the equation one, so one that most of us are more familiar with. We have 1/2 divided by 1/3. So I only need to find the reciprocal of the second number. So my 1 over 3 is now going to change into 3 over 1. And my multiplication sign, my division sign now becomes multiplication. My first number always remains the same. So it's only the second one that I want to find the reciprocal for. So 1 times 3 equals 3. 2 times 1 equals 2. So 3 over 2 also equals 1.5. So go ahead and try the got it, pause the video, and try A, B, and C. So here are my answers. So I have 1 over 4 times 8 over 3. I cross-divided because 8 and 4 both have compatible numbers, so I divided each of them by 4. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. 4 divided by 4 equals 1. So that changed to a 2, and that changed to a 1. So 1 over 1 times 2 over 3 equals 2 over 3. For B, I could not cross-divide because there was no compatible numbers when crossing. So we have 16 over 9, which simplifies to 1 and 7/9. For C, 3 and 6 can both divide into 3. So 3 divided by 3 equals 1. 6 divided by 3 equals 2. So 5 times 1 equals 5. 2 times 1 equals 2. So that gives me 5 over 2, which simplifies to 2.5. Moving on to example 2. This is write a story context for 2/3 divided by 1/6. Use a model to solve. So it says Mariska has 2/3 pound of sunflower seeds. Each day she feeds the cardinals in her yards 1/6 pound of seeds. For how many days will she be able to feed the cardinals? Because using the area model, we have the whole, all of it is the whole. And then we split that up into thirds. So third. Now we have 2/3 of it, and how many times can 1/6 fit in the 2/3? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. So she can do it for 4 days. Now, for D, it says write a story context for 3/4 divided by 1/8. Use a model to solve. So I know a lot of us are going to have questions on this, but we have a story context right here that you can use as reference. So instead of saying sunflower seeds, you can change it to a different object. So make sure we use the example 2 to help us create a story context for D. Okay, so I have my story context, and I kind of use the same example as instead of Mariska and sunflower seeds, I just changed the name. So Luis is 3/4 pounds of strawberries. He feeds his bird 1/8 pound a day. How many days can he feed his bird? Question mark. So like we said, it says use a model to solve. So this model is going to represent 1 pound. And I have 3/4. So I'm actually going to divide this into fourths because my denominator is 3 out of 4. So now that I have 3 out of the 4, or the fourths, now I have three of them right here. So how many times can an eighth fit in 3/4? So now I'm going to split up into eighths. So my gray ones are eighths. And if you look closely, I have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8. I have 6/8. Oh, I'm sorry. That should be 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 days, 6 days. I have 6 of my eighths fit into the fourths, so I can say I'll have food for 6 days. Now this is a pretty tough concept to grasp, so if you need to rewatch example 2 and how I set up my story, go ahead and rewatch it. So next it says divide a fraction by a whole number. So this is just the same thing that we've been doing. So we have 5/7 divided by 10. 5/7 divided by 10. So we still have to do the same thing. We still have to find this reciprocal of the second number. So we have 5/7. This is going to change to a multiplication sign. And with a whole number, remember, a whole number over 1 is a fraction. So I'm finding the reciprocal, I have 1 over 10. Now my 5 and 10 can't cross divide, so 5 divided by 5 equals 1. 10 divided by 5 equals 2. So now I have 1 over 14. And I got the same answer as the book. So go ahead and pause the video, try E, F, and G. So they gave us some pretty nice problems to work with. I know 4 divided by 4 equals 4, 8 divided by 4 equals 2. And because these have compatible numbers and we're cross-dividing, that means these work. So my numerator is 2 times 1 equals 2, 9 times 1 equals 9. Ooh, of course. Thanks, Microsoft. Alright, so we have 4 over 5 times 1 over 8. 4 and 8 can both divide into 4. So 4 divided by 4 equals 1. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. 1 times 1, 1. Now my denominator is 5 times 2, 10. Same thing. 4 and 12 can both divide by 4. Divide by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now that I've cross-divided, 3 times 1 equals 3. 13 times 1 equals 13. So for E, I have 2 over 9. For F, I have 1 over 10. And for G, I have 3 over 13. So the last example. It says Ramon is making party favors. He's dividing 3/4 of almonds into 12 packages. So we have, sorry about that. So right off the bat, it says he's dividing 3/4 into 12 packages. Write and solve an equation to find how many pounds of almonds are in each package. So 3 over 4, division changes into a multiplication. Finding the reciprocal of 12 is 1 over 12. Now I do have some compatible numbers. 3 can go into 3, 12 can go into 3. So that becomes a 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 12 divided by 3 becomes 4. So now I can multiply. My numerator is 1 times 1 equals 1. 4 times 4 equals 16. So 1/16 pound of almonds. And that is the end of the notes. So thank you for watching.